I'm okay with going second. I didn't feel too strongly because I don't think we're gonna have a lot of overlap. I'll be surprised if we do. It'll be like a gut punch.
You can't say action movie without Tom Cruise in the same sentence.
A theme I've built so far with my first two picks is like gritty action movies.
Kind of a style that I'm going with here is like creativity of how they displayed the action. And that's going to be...
You did no.
Yep.
You can't pick that.
Why?
Bro, undraft that.
I can't undraft that. That's my pick.
Undraft that right now.
I can't. Like, I locked that one in.
Put it back in the well.
No, like, the commissioner of the league said that it's good to go. Like, I can't argue him.
I'll trade you.
Welcome to Backseat Directing,
where we talk about movies, TV shows, comics, and more.
We're your hosts,
Andrew
and Aaron.
And we put out new episodes every Monday and Thursday.
And today we're doing an action movie draft.
3, 2, 1.
Action. Andrew, what a smooth intro. That was good.
We almost never make mistakes.
Yeah. We're almost to 500 subscribers. By this point, we might be over. We've been doing this podcast for 1 year. I want to take a moment to thank everyone who has supported the show. We really appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun, and we're excited to talk about it this point next year as well.
Yeah, and in that moment of excitement and thankfulness for all these people who have supported us, we're going to take a little bit of time here to read some comments from some people that commented on one of our more recent videos. We are going to get to the movie draft really soon, just after this, but just 3 quick comments that I'd like to read in appreciation. People, we love everyone who watches our videos, and we also want to show our appreciation for people who engage with us. So we got a comment. I have no idea how to pronounce this name, but it looks like Jari Rogers. And Jari said, really cool and relaxing listening to you guys explain everything well. I'm now also considering reading the comments, which this comment was on our Adam Eve and Invincible Season 2 information episode. That episode was episode number 110. And
what a clean number.
Such a cool comment. I was really, really complimented to hear him say that it's relaxing to listen to us. Because that's like, I feel like that's kind of a nice niche like for us to fit into.
Yeah.
That's what I love for a podcast.
It's borderline surprising because I've never been relaxed to you.
I'm an abrasive personality sometimes, but also the compliment of saying that you're considering reading the comments because like rock comics. I keep saying comments because I'm reading.
Highly recommended to read the comics.
Seriously, like rock on for that. Like we love the comics, and if we could inspire anybody to get into reading any comics, but especially Invincible, which are so close to our hearts, that is insanely sick. So I hope you do read them. If you do, let us know what you think of them in our comments.
Definitely.
The next comment is from Ryan Thompson. Ryan says, I don't want to rain on your joy, and I'm really glad you liked it. My impression was that the Eve episode was a little formulaic, and I predicted exactly what would happen at each part in the story. Not sure I loved it as much as I wanted to. Ryan goes on to say that he thinks that the reason that he really likes Invincible was that even though it followed superhero tropes, it continued to surprise him all the time. He never knew what was going to happen next, and that somehow it just wasn't there in the Adam Eve special. And Ryan, I want to say that although we disagree with you strongly, we do appreciate your comment on our episode, and we're glad that you engaged with us. So we got to have a little conversation there in the comments because that's what this is about, right? I mean, a conversation about movies and shows can't just us being like, oh, I love Henry Cavill. I love Henry Cavill too. We're going to also have those parts where we disagree, and sometimes that's the best part. So I'm glad we got to talk about why we like the Eve episode.
Every once in a while, people bring up good points, and it's like, oh, I didn't think of that. But in this case, you're wrong.
But thanks for your comment. And the last comment's from one of our longtime commenters, big supporter of the show, whose username is Jay on Instagram. I'm sorry, on YouTube on the Red app. He sent us a message thanking us for making the video, saying he's not a follower of Invincible, but he just watched the episode to hear us talk, which is
that's crazy.
Another amazing compliment. Aaron's cheesing right now. He's smiling from ear to ear.
Yeah,
if you're listening. But it's so great to hear these things. Jay's always telling us how he appreciates our work and loves the show, and so we're really always makes us so happy. So I would like to try and give you a shout out when we can.
It's really cool that our podcast is a way to introduce and entertain forms of media that maybe someone wasn't interested in originally, but somehow me and you are able to entice them into listening to a topic about something that they haven't seen. That blows my mind.
And Jay,
you're the man.
watch Invincible.
Yes, and watch Invincible.
But you are the man.
Yeah, what are you doing, man?
So now back into our movie draft. Also, precursor to all of our episodes in this time, I'm going to also mention the WGA writer's strike and the SAG-AFTRA strike that are currently going on as of the time of filming this episode. Again, I'll say that we are not paid or promoted through studios. We aren't doing work with studios. We are doing our own thing here.
We're not paid at all, actually.
Yeah, we're just doing it for fun. Maybe one day. But we support everything that the strike and the unions represent. We want people to be paid a fair wage. We want them to be paid what they owed, a livable wage. And so I just wanted to shout out that support and mention that at the start of this episode while I'm thinking of it. We are going to be talking about a lot of movies, but that said, that's the goal of this strike. I don't think is for no one to talk about movies. So this is what we do. We're having a fun time doing this, but we firmly, morally agree with the strike.
Yeah, the creators of all these movies deserve their content to be consumed and enjoyed, but more so, they deserve to be paid what they're worth, even more than that. I mean, they're not asking for anything ridiculous. They're asking for something that's fair. Most of the actors and writers and stuff, they're not making enough to even get health insurance. Yeah. That is not acceptable, like something's got to change. And it doesn't make any sense, right? Because without them, they don't have a good product. I mean, we're already seeing how rushed products and productions create bad movies and shows when if we gave the reins to these creators, we'll get much better product.
Yeah, it's like
in the end, they'll make more money.
It's like not wanting to have a restaurant, like not wanting to pay your chefs at a restaurant.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't work.
It's not the brand that people go and watch. It's the content. It's what's actually being made, and the way that that's made is the people who make it.
It's a whole crazy mess. And we
blows my mind.
We definitely support them out there, but the unions, they're asking people not to take paid promotional work, not to take studio work, and not to take jobs from writers and actors, and none of which we're doing. So I just wanted to make sure that we clarify that at the start.
So let's go ahead and pivot into the topic of today's episode, and that is action movies. Andrew, today we're going to be each drafting a team of 5 action movies to create the best 5 that we can get in our draft. So since it's only me and you, we're going to go back and forth until we have 5. And at the end, what makes the draft so cool is that the audience gets to vote for the winner. And then also mention any movies that we missed as well.
Yeah, and you guys can vote on all the platforms, which is we're on essentially every podcast platform. You can also vote in the comments of our upcoming social media videos. So we're on all of those as well. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Threads, Facebook. Am I missing
everywhere?
Any? Yeah, and then all the podcast platforms: Google Podcasts, Apple, Spotify. You can vote on pretty much all these platforms for what team, and you can vote more than once if you want to go across platforms. Help that team out.
Definitely. Okay, Andrew, we're going to use this coin to determine who goes first. I kind of want to go second. I want to get a feel for where you're going. So
I'd be down to have first pick. I think I know what I want. So while Aaron flips that coin, I'm just going to say that.
I need you to pick heads or tails, so I can't flip it while you're talking.
Right. So I want to explain first. The way we do our drafts is that since there's just 2 of us, we're just going to go back and forth. Aaron's going to flip a coin. Whoever wins will get to decide their spot in the order, first or second. If I were to win, if Andrew wins, then Andrew may choose to go first. Then Aaron, then Andrew, just back and forth until we both have 5 on our team. Then we'll ask the audience to vote for who has the best team, which is just going to be subjective to you guys. Who has the best team of action movies?
There's so many movies to pick from. All right, call in the air.
Heads, never fails.
Tails.
How did I lose twice? Statistically, I should have got the second one.
Let's go.
This is the second
draft that we're recording tonight. Yeah.
Back to back.
Normally, you do win these coin flip ones. Did you want to go first or second?
I'm okay with going second. I didn't feel too strongly because I don't think we're gonna have a lot of overlap. I'll be surprised if we do. It'll be like a gut punch.
Yeah. Okay. I guess I'll go first. I know I said I wanted to go second, but I'm worried that you're going to pick a really good one. So I guess I'll try to set the tone for today. And I'm having a hard time here. So what I'm thinking of when we say action movies is something that has a lot of like pace to it, you know, like it's going really fast. There's a lot of fighting, maybe car chases, fight scenes, swords, knives, guns, whatever, and crazy stunts. And who does it better than the man, Tom Cruise himself? I'm going to go ahead and start this draft off strong with my favorite Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation.
Really? Rogue Nation?
Did I say that wrong? Ghost Protocol.
He picked Rogue Nation. You heard it. I'm locking him in. I knew you meant Ghost Protocol.
Yeah, my bad. Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol. That's the one I want. The first one with Jeremy Renner. It's the one where he's scaling the outside of that building.
Yeah, we taught the Burj Khalifa. We both admit, we both agree, I mean, that's the best Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah.
Fallout's really good, though.
Yeah, Fallout is really good. I feel it's hard, but I think the story is just a little bit better in Ghost. But yeah, that's where I'm starting out, man. I mean, you can't say action movie without Tom Cruise in the same sentence.
I'm pretty sure that you could.
No, you can't. It's wrong.
I'm pretty sure I'm about to.
No, it's wrong. Like, it's just not as good. It doesn't have the same impact, you know. And that's what these action movies are all about. It's just that impact. So that's my first pick.
I think I have a really good rebuttal to your first pick. So for my first pick of the action movie draft, on the number one spot, I am taking John Wick. And here you've got somebody like Tom Cruise who does a lot of his stunts, not on the same scale. Keanu's not scaling the side of the Burj Khalifa in real life, but he does a lot of the tumbling, a lot of the grappling. He does a lot of the gunfighting.
The fight stunts.
Yeah. So
and the cars.
And he does a lot of driving as well. Yeah. So the first John Wick, in my opinion, is the best. What I'm looking for with my movies, same as you, is a movie with a high percentage of action. Not just the action element, not just something where there's a chase or a fight. I'm looking for something with high octane, you know, a lot of action. And I think John Wick is, in my opinion, kind of the quintessential action movie. It's like bringing back the 80s action movies back to life in like the 2010s. And Keanu's just so good in it. He gave us Baba Yaga. He's frightening. And then the story elements are so good. I mean, giving us the Continental, like the world of the assassins, it world built so well. So I just think it blends story marvelously with like stunts and action and fighting.
Some of his lines run a little flat, though. I think you can agree with that. But we talked about it before.
But you can call it quotable. Like even where I feel like it doesn't explode as well as it should in the climactic moment of "I'm thinking I'm back." We still quote it all the time.
Yeah,
even on the show, you could hear us saying that so many times.
Yeah, I mean, as the movies go on, he talks less and less, and kills more and more people. Hey, what's more action than that?
You could get paid millions of dollars to say 130 words,
dude. The price that you're getting per word, insane. Could you imagine if you got like 10 cents per word?
Dude, I'd be a billionaire.
I know, you don't shut up. Okay, for my next one, I'm going to pick something that kind of reminds me a little bit of John Wick in terms of the action. You know, it's like you said, high octane. It's nonstop. It's a very unique style, I would say, heavily stylized. And that's what really made this movie pop out to me when I first saw it. Big shock factor.
I have a guess. I'll just whisper to the camera. So if you're
okay, I guess I'll close my ears.
All right.
Okay. Let's see if you're right. And that is Kingsman: The Secret Service. Were you right?
Yes.
Nice.
You going with the first one or the second?
First one for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you love it, first of all, but you said stylized action and remind you of John Wick. The hits hit really heavy in Kingsman. It's the church fight scene, I feel like, is a big part of the reason you're picking it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what's better than a one-take fight scene? I mean, it's so cool, right? Like it really helps you stay in the action. You know, sometimes movies can take you out of the action in terms of how they edit the fight, you know, like there's a movie recently that came out. It was a Marvel movie. Trying to think of what it was, but the beginning fight, like they were kind of bouncing all over.
Bouncing all over. I was thinking of the one take if you were going that route.
It might have been Black 3. I think it was Black Panther. Wakanda Forever.
In the darkness, that part?
No, in the beginning where the women were fighting. Anyways, it was edited where it was kind of hard to follow the location of where everyone was and stuff like that. With a one take, you have one perspective on the fight, you know, and just the amount of like detail that goes into performing a one take, especially with how many people they had in that church.
The choreography, the blocking,
Yeah.
the camera work,
And then
stunts.
another thing that I kind of keep in mind for an action movie is that like at the same time with all the killing and the fighting and stuff, it's like it's light. You know, it's easy to digest. It's funny. It makes you laugh. But Kingsman does a good job of like keeping you engaged in the story, and you're laughing and you're shocked at the same time during those fights. So Kingsman is my second pick. Andrew, what are you going with?
I think for my next pick, I'm probably going to go with this pick is going to be primarily because of the fact that I'm worried you'll take it if I don't. So for my round 2 of the draft, I'm going to be taking the Bourne Identity.
Ah, yeah. Okay, whatever.
You didn't want that, huh? You didn't want that, did you?
No.
So the Bourne Identity, again, is kind of a theme I've built so far with my first 2 picks, is like gritty action movies.
Yeah, you just selecting the same movie over and over?
They're not the same movie. They're drastically different. One's the world of covert agent, and one's the world of an assassin.
Yeah.
The key element of Bourne Identity that I've talked about before that I love so much is the twist of him having lost his memory. It's a true medical phenomenon, but this innate fact that he has these built-in skills and abilities, and he doesn't know his own past. Like, he doesn't know his own name, but he knows how to tie knots and play chess and speak other languages and fight and do Krav Maga. And it's amazing. Matt Damon is truly, truly incredible in this movie. I love the appearance in an action movie of somebody who has knowledge of what to do seemingly in every scenario. And that's what Jason Bourne is.
Yeah, I kind of wish that you didn't pick that because there's so many options. It's kind of hard to like narrow down which movies I actually want on my list. And I love that movie. So screw you.
Yeah, now you have to pick through the options that aren't guaranteed success for you.
Yeah. Or at least that I'm like overly emotionally connected to. You know, like I feel like that was my movie as a kid. And I feel like Bourne has like a good story to it as well, which you don't always find.
I like the story a lot in both of my picks. I mean, I think the action ties really well with the story in both of them.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go with one that maybe Andrew doesn't expect me picking. And maybe he doesn't care, but this is kind of like catering to the audience a little bit, which is where we have to go with the draft, you know? And this is kind of like an earlier action movie, you know? It's like one of the originals where they did something that stylistically like blew your mind. And I guess that's kind of a style that I'm going with here, is like creativity of how they displayed the action. And that's going to be The Matrix.
You didn't know.
Yep, The Matrix.
You can't pick that.
Why?
You haven't seen it.
What do you mean? I have seen it.
You've seen The Matrix?
Yes. I've seen it.
I thought you and Zach both hadn't seen it.
No, I hadn't seen it for a while, but I watched it this year.
You didn't even like it that much.
It was all right.
Bro, undraft that.
I can't undraft that. That's my pick.
Undraft that right now.
I can't. Like, I locked that one in.
Put it back in the well.
No, like, the commissioner of the league said that it's good to go. Like, I can't argue him.
I'll trade you.
What would you trade?
Give you the Bourne Identity.
No. The fact that you want to trade, you've never wanted to trade in a draft. So that just shows me that this pick is top tier. And you thought you were going to get it at fifth. You thought you were going to get it at fifth, didn't you?
Because you don't appreciate it.
You thought it was going to go 5?
Yeah.
That's disrespecting this movie, don't you think?
It's not disrespecting.
You should have drafted this
it's
one.
It's knowing your opponent.
You appreciate this movie so much. Why didn't you pick it first?
Because you weren't going to pick it, and it would have been
What do you mean I wasn't going to pick it? I just picked it, man.
It would have been a stupid strategic decision to pick it first in the draft if you were never going to pick it, which you never should have picked because you don't like it.
Your scouting didn't do you justice on this one. They messed up.
I scouted the fact that you don't like the movie.
I never said I don't like it. It's just not my favorite movie. And there's nothing that says in the rules of our drafts that we have to like our picks, as in they're our favorite picks. You know, this is one of the best action movies. So I picked it on my team. It's not my fault that you don't know how a draft works.
I hate you. You're the absolute worst.
Let's go.
I don't know why.
All right.
I don't know what it's.
Thank you for that pick.
What do you mean, thank you? You picked it.
Yeah, I know, but you left it on the board this long.
Okay. Can I have my turn?
Yeah, it's your turn, man.
Do you want to talk about The Matrix? Do you want to say anything
I think what we just did was enough. You know, I said that it was very unique. Obviously, we got the slow motion, multiple cameras. Like that was the first time we've seen anything like that. They actually
Called bullet
used
time.
they actually used comic book artists to help design and plan out these shots. So I love it. Yeah.
Wachowski siblings really changed cinema with that movie.
Yeah. And that's why I wanted it on my team.
I don't like
you know?
it that much. So just turn of the century masterpiece. But
Yeah. Which is why it's on my team. You know, like it's not on your team. So
you vote for this fraud. You vote for this sham. All right.
don't hate the player, hate the game, baby.
For my number 3 pick. Okay. For my number 3 pick.
Get your head in the game, man.
Go into like a personality. I'm gonna like go into it.
On-screen Andrew here.
Yeah, I gotta try and be normal. The my number 3 spot for this draft of drafting best action movies. I'm gonna take 300.
Okay, yeah.
I think it's Zack Snyder's action movie masterpiece.
I thought you were going to go with this one.
I really, really love 300. If you know me, you know that like I love it's again stylized nature of movie. The hits like in Kingsman, like in The Matrix, they land really hard. People fly across the room. People just the dramaticism is 2 and 11. People taking like a bunch of spears. You know the quotes are beloved. My favorite. Then we'll fight in the shade. How badass is that? Well, our arrows will blot out the sun. Like, then we'll fight in the shade. Oh my god! Michael Fassbender's in this movie. Gerard Butler's in this movie. Like, this movie is absolutely stacked. It's just pure testosterone. Absolutely shredded guys. 300 people fighting an army of like 100,000. Like, it's
Really cool camera work as well with the punch-ins and punch-outs, you know, of that iconic fight scene. They actually had like multiple cameras like rigged up so they can just kind of flip through those camera angles. Like they weren't just zooming in for it. So really creative of how they displayed the action, which seems to be a common theme of our draft. You know, you have to be unique with how you display your action.
I think this is another gritty pick for me as well, just because it's so dark and bloody, and that I love how like desaturated it is. It really has a striking visual presence when you see like the red of their kind of capes, and you can really see the gold of their shields. Like it's everything stands out because of the signature Zack Snyder style of the level of saturation.
Yeah. Okay. With my next pick, I feel like I can go in a few different directions.
Yeah, you could pick a movie you've seen, a movie you haven't seen, a movie you like, a movie you don't like.
I've seen all of my picks.
Okay.
And I like all of my picks. So I don't know what you're complaining about over there. Okay, so I'm kind of between 2 movies right now. I think I'm going to go towards, oh man. Which way do I want to go here? Gosh darn it. Between 2 movies. One is, you know what? I think I'm going to go, oh, no, I should go a different direction.
This guy's brain is being split in 2.
I know. I just, it's so tough. Okay, I'm gonna kind of change it up a little bit. A lot of, so far, my picks and even your picks have been heavily fight-oriented. You know, hand-to-hand combat, big on the stunts and stuff like that. I'm going to go a slightly different route, and I'm going to pick one that's kind of more in the automobile field. You know, we got a lot of racing, got a lot of cars, big jumps, and still those heavy-hitting punches as well as the comedy, and that's going to be Fast 5. The best version or the best iteration in the Fast franchise. I mean, there's a reason why these movies had made billions and billions of dollars. Like, they are action packed. Whether you think they're getting ridiculous or not, like Fast 5 is top tier. They got a great heist story mixed in, a star cast, and the action is incredible. When The Rock and Vin Diesel are fighting, I remember first watching that, I was like, man, it's like 2 Hulks are going at it right now. Like, it was so cool.
The franchise that we have shit talked the absolute most on our podcast.
Doesn't mean that it doesn't have cool action parts, you know? I mean, I've never said that I didn't like Fast 5. I really like Fast 5, actually.
Yeah, I'm not saying you don't like it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sure.
Unlike other movies on your list.
Yeah, I mean, I do like the other movies on my list. That's why I drafted them, and I think other people will like them as well. So
It's a cool movie. Cool movie. The car chase elements are accentuated, which is cool. Different from the other picks. So.
yes, thank you. I feel like Andrew's like just going to be salty the rest of this episode,
I mean, I'm seething. I think I'm hiding it pretty well.
I think you're doing a terrible job. Absolutely terrible. You're like, all right, the next one I'm going to pick is 300. I love the desaturation, like how I feel right now,
I'm actually having a really hard time between the ones left on my list.
Thank you, right? It's tough.
It's killing me. I think I'm just gonna pull the trigger on some of these. I'm just gonna take a shot.
Yeah.
So for my number 4 pick, for my action movie draft, I'm gonna go with Captain America 2: The Winter Soldier.
Okay, solid pick.
So we've yet, I think, to have a superhero movie drafted,
Correct.
right? Mm-hmm. So Captain America 2: The Winter Soldier, it just has such incredible choreography. I think the story is really good with everything with Oversight and Hydra infecting S.H.I.E.L.D. It's super quotable, the Cap, the freedom speech, the price of freedom speech, and then just
can you quote that?
this. let me get the first one.
Really, really quotable over here. It's right on the tip of your tongue, right?
He says, "The price of freedom is high, and if I'm the only one to pay, then so be it. But I'm willing to bet I'm not." That's the key part of this.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. That was good.
But
I'll punch you on the spot there. You delivered.
I really like the quote where he says, "Does anyone want to get out?" So good.
Before we get started. Yep.
The fight scene in the elevator, the fight scene. I love the fight scene in the beginning on the boat where he's just taking people out left and right, really showcasing how
murdering everyone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really showcasing how Cap can go against humans, like what he can do. His speed is incredible. I like the way they showcase him running on the bridge. Russo brothers direct it incredibly. The fight with every interaction between him and Bucky is so good. I really watched a video on a TikTok the other day of him chasing the Winter Soldier for the first time, and it's where he's just taking out doors with the shield.
And then turns around and...
Yeah, dude,
so cool.
When he runs the shield into the wall, bounces off, turns, and just takes off running, him like jumping, that whole chase sequence and culminating with Bucky catching the shield, and you're just like, who is this guy? Like the first time you watch that, it was so incredible. Like the action is so fast paced. And again, with my other choices, the hits hit so hard because they're little superhuman. So whether it's Cap kicking somebody off the edge of a boat or these two super soldiers going toe to toe with their fights, just so fast paced. The choreography.
Did you even talk about the knife fight?
The knife drop? Yeah, I said every interaction of Cap and Bucky is like complete peak choreography, action fighting. The speed is, and
just that shot where he drops the knife, like
the cleanliness is so amazing, and so many of the handheld shots in that movie, like. Handheld shots work so good in action. There's a lot of them in John Wick also.
Well, there's a lot in Bourne too, but...
a lot. Shaky cam in Bourne is staple.
Almost too much.
Too much shaky cam. But it's okay.
But they mix that really well in Captain America Winter Soldier. Like having that handheld feeling, but still having the action be very... clear, like you very motivated. You understand that the hits are landing. You know where everyone is in relationship to each other. Like good editing, good filmmaking. I mean, that's one of my favorite movies. You know that. And so good pick.
Absolutely. Thank you for the praise. But now I got to hear what your last and final pick is going to be.
Okay, I knew I could get this one at 5. Okay, unlike you. My scouting was accurate.
You read your opponent better than I did.
Yes, I knew that there was no chance that you were going to draft this movie, and I'm sure you can even guess what it is. And that's going to be my favorite Transformers movie, Dark of the Moon.
Yeah.
I love this movie.
It's actually called Dark Side of the Moon.
It's actually not. Look it up.
Oh, man. I'm just gonna take the L.
Okay, thank you.
Why is it called Dark of the Moon?
I don't know, man. I don't name movies.
That is stupid.
You're stupid.
Transformers, Dark of the Moon. You forgot a word. Nobody wanted to tell Michael Bay that he forgot a word.
It's shorter, okay? It's easier to digest.
Easier to fit on posters.
know, man. But we're talking about the movie, not this isn't the best action titles.
Is that not grammatically incorrect?
Are any of these, like, is that what makes a movie?
The Last Night makes sense. Isn't that what the most recent one's called?
I don't know. I stopped watching those after this one.
They
This
didn't
one
call
was
it like
peak.
They didn't call it the of the night.
Can you let me talk about the movie? Kind of like how you picked the first superhero movie, I wanted to kind of go in that similar direction, you know, like aliens, these are machines, you know, they're from space. It's that everyone else on my team is human. And I think this adds like a good dynamic to the team. But in terms of the movie, I think it has a really good plot. I know you hate this movie, but I think it's like, I don't know why you do. Like,
I don't hate it. I think you super overrate it.
no, man, it's so good. It really is. The CGI is incredible. The story's great. The acting's great.
Are you
Like,
arguing like turn your brain off great? Or are you arguing like great amongst all movies?
I could argue for both. Like it's a good story. It's got a lot of good action. Like I think this is one of the best on this list.
I could accept arguing it in the category of like Expendables, but I can't accept arguing
No.
against like these other.
No, it's definitely above Expendables. Come
Sure,
on.
sure, it might be above Expendables, but it's in the category. It's in the category of like Fast and the Furious, like
No.
6 through 9.
No, I think this has a lot more like levity to it, you know, like than like the Fast franchise, especially the later Fast franchise. You know, like I don't know. I don't know why you hate this, man. Like it's got what's not to like? You know, it's got machine robots, hot girls, you know, like it's a fast-paced story.
They subbed out Megan Fox. Like it just wasn't.
Yeah, but I'm not
together.
attached to Megan Fox. I like the other actress in this movie.
It starts to feel like they were just making it to make money, which is obviously the goal of making a movie, but you don't want to feel that.
But I didn't feel that at all. I feel like it was a good like next movie, and I think it's a good like standalone movie too. Like just when all the Transformers like died in the rocket, but then they were able to escape. Like I don't know. I feel like I could feel the lows. I could feel the devastation. I could feel them getting beat, and then I could feel that rise back up. Like I think it did good of like balancing all the characters. You know, like it's kind of like the Avengers in the fact that it has like all these different like characters and storylines that you're following, like the parts with just the humans where they're fighting, like I thought it was really well done. And then you also have the Transformers fighting, like they balanced all the characters really well, man.
Transformers 2 and 3 aren't really good enough in my mind to even remember which scenes belong to which movie.
I think you need to rewatch the third one. The second
That
one,
much better than the second one?
it's leagues above the second one. The second one came out during a writer's strike, so like of course it was better, you know. And then the first one, I would say the third one's better as well.
We'll see what the audience has to say about Transformers.
All right. For your fifth pick, Andrew.
For my final pick of the draft, I mean, there's two that I really want primarily. Okay, so what I'm going to go with for my fifth pick and final pick of this action movie draft is going to be Wanted.
Okay.
I absolutely love this movie. It's another gritty pick. I think the only one on my list that doesn't maybe fit that archetype is Captain America 2, but Wanted is very gritty, very bloody, very dark. That's what I like in my action movies. Like they're not afraid to, they don't want to shy away from blood. They don't want to shy away from darker storylines. The idea of kill one, save 1,000, you know, the story that Fox, Angelina Jolie's character, tells where she was branded, like they're toying with concepts of like morality. Is it ever okay to kill? The concept of fate. Like they're dealing with real heavy themes, but also people are curving bullets. So I feel like it's Matrix-esque in that aspect, whereas like the sensationalized
But the
violence,
Matrix does it better, and that's on my team. So,
the Matrix does it different. I would
so
have.
you think Wanted's better than The Matrix?
I'm not saying that Wanted is a better movie than Matrix. I am not saying that.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
But Wanted does hold its own special place.
Wanted's like kind of forgettable.
It's not. It's really not. It's so good.
Honestly,
it's so underappreciated is what
For
it is.
me, I don't really like that movie because of how much I hated the comics.
Yeah, you read the comic first, which was a terrible decision.
Yeah, and I think that's why I don't like that movie that much, is because the comic for me like really jaded it.
Yeah,
I would highly recommend not reading the Wanted comic at all costs.
Yeah, if you're not
was
sure what he's
Terrible.
if you're not sure what Aaron's referencing, there's the comic book for Wanted is by Mark Miller, who is also the author for Kick-Ass, the comics as well.
And Kingsman.
They're really like dark, and I just think that his comics can be like too much, like with the
Very derogative.
derogative. It can be like
Racist.
it can have
a
racist
lot.
terminology, homophobic terminology, stuff like
Yeah.
that. So it's from a different time as well. Not that necessarily excuses anything, but the climate that those were written in was different. So when the movies came out for all of those products, I think they're vastly improved because we're in like a better
Especially
state
the
as a
Kingsman
society.
on my team.
Yeah, no, I think Wanted is the most improved of his work because Wanted is
Because it was so low. not because like it like made this achievement of like it got so much better, but like the bar was like set like way down here. You know what I'm saying? Like
what other movie does like curving bullets? They have sensational use of slow motion in Wanted. The bullet curving is such a brilliant dynamic to add to a movie. That when they shoot a bullet and hit another bullet, their adrenaline aspect where they can slow down time added such a cool aspect to this story. And then like the dynamic where Wesley, the main character, never knew or had his father, and now like Cross is coming into the picture. There's a mystery. The plot twist. Cover your ears. Spoiler alert: the plot twist of the hero becoming the villain with the character played by Morgan Freeman, like the organization that trains him turning it over on its head, and now he's fighting all of them. So many climactic, amazing fight scenes, and I think the editing for this movie is so good. Like the way they cut back and forth with his flashbacks for his training, such an incredible training montage. I love this movie. I've probably seen it a dozen times.
I think this movie's all right. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've never really thought about this movie besides when you bring it up.
Dude, this movie's got James McAvoy. It's got Morgan Freeman, Angelina Jolie. It's got Chris Pratt. The cast is stacked.
It's forgettable.
To you,
Yeah,
this is the top 5 action movie for me.
Maybe it's really that comic, man.
Do you want to go over our?
Yeah, let's do it. So my list, I have Mission Impossible: Ghost Protocol. Got in my second place slot, I have Kingsman: The Secret Service. 3, I have The Matrix. In 4, I have Fast 5, and in 5, I have Transformers: Dark of the Moon.
Specifically, no side.
Nope.
So for my top action movies, I drafted John Wick in my number 1 spot. My number 2 spot, I got The Bourne Identity. And then in my number 3 spot, I have the movie 300 by Zack Snyder. In my number 4 spot, I have Captain America 2, The Winter Soldier. And in rounding out my team in the 5 spot, I have Wanted.
Nice. How do you feel about your team?
I feel really good about my team. I absolutely love these movies. I could sit down and have a marathon of these movies in order of 1 to 5 right now, and I have a good time.
Yeah, I would say the same about my list.
I'd watch 5 movies back to back to back, and I would absolutely enjoy myself.
Yeah, I'm happy with my list. I'm happy with how mad my picks made you. That just
no one cares about your list.
It's so
what were you most upset you didn't get?
On your team, I do really like the Bourne.
Just overall.
Oh, okay. I think I'm still gonna go the same route. I really do enjoy the Bourne Identity movies. I think that's a personal pick. You know, like maybe rewatching it, I've noticed some of its flaws, but like I can overlook this. You know, like it's just like so deep within me. You know, of like my connection to that movie. It's kind of like your connection to The Matrix. You know, like you used to watch this a lot growing up and stuff. It's probably one of your most rewatched movies. That's the Bourne Identity for me. So like as a personal pick, I'm like, man, like wish that was on my team. And then I had Captain America: Winter Soldier. I mean, top 2 or 3 MCU movie, you know, so like that's a solid pick. I like John Wick. 300, I haven't been able to get all the way through. And then Wanted, I just hate the comic so much that it's really hard to like that movie at all. Some others that I have on here, the one that I was like really going back and forth between was Fast 5, going like that car route, going like a different kind of genre or what kind of action we get. And Taken, the first Taken. For me, like that's kind of like the original John Wick almost, you know, but with like a better story, I'd say.
Yeah, Taken was one of the ones that missed my list by like a razor slim margin. Like I was really considering at the end.
Like I was really going back and forth between Taken and Fast 5. I just didn't know like which route, but I figured like Taken, like you have John Wick and Bourne, like we kind of already picked that, you know, like hard hitting hand-to-hand combat movies. So I kind of wanted to just go the different route, you know. But I mean, I will find you and I will kill you. Like, I have Top Gun Maverick on mine too.
I thought you might think of that.
I really love that movie. I just think in terms of like action movies, the Mission Impossible kind of fits that category more. And I didn't want 2 Tom Cruise movies.
Yeah.
I liked my pick. I had Speed on my list as well.
Keanu.
Yeah, that's like, it's an intense movie. It's like a different type of action. You know, it's not like they're fighting really ever, but it's like got this intense adrenaline. Like they're going 60 miles, 50 miles an hour on the highway and they can't stop. Like you're on your edge of the seat the whole time.
They're driving a bus.
Yeah. I have Inception on there as well. And then Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah. Yeah. Inception is such a phenomenal movie. It's just, some things that lean more towards drama I didn't put on my list.
Yeah. That's why I didn't pick it as well.
I have I'm now looking back at it, I'm almost wishing I could sub in this pick, but I really wish I could have gotten Die Hard. That's a really personal pick. So I had a theme running on my list. All my movies are basically post 2000. So I just stuck with modern movies because I was on that trend. But I kind of wish maybe that would have rounded out my team. But it's tough with this because you got to balance your personal picks. Die Hard's my personal pick. But some of these other movies that I picked on here reach a younger audience and got to hit the TikToks up when we make this, so hoping to get more votes. But
yeah, you should have sub Wanted.
Die Hard has a personal tie for me. Me and my grandma watched Die Hard together all while I was growing up. Like basically every other weekend we'd sit down and watch Die Hard 1, Die Hard 3, or Die Hard 4. We pretend 2 doesn't exist, and 5, especially 5. But I really, really love the first Die Hard. I think it's an iconic staple of the action genre that I wish I could have had on my list. I had on my list as well Raid Redemption, Casino Royale. I also had Taken, Train to Busan, Baby Driver, Bullet Train, a recent.
I had Bullet Train on my list too.
And then The Batman, The Dark Knight, which I just didn't pick because they have a lot of drama elements. And I think some of the movies I picked have more actual fight scenes.
Yeah, when I was thinking like action movie, I don't want to say like turn your brain off kind of movies, but movies where like the action was more prominent than like the dialogue and the, do you know what I'm trying to say?
Because I do think there is a lot to think about and there's a historical true story in like 300, but that it is kind of trounced by the action of the movie when you think of it.
And like the Batman, like it has a lot of great scenes, but I think it's more of like a thriller.
Yeah, it's a really good thriller. It has a lot of mystery elements.
Right.
And then I had Hitman's Bodyguard. I think we both like that one. Red. That
one's funny.
I really love Red with Bruce Willis and John Malkovich. Helen Mirren. Honorable mentions. I had also The Man from U.N.C.L.E., Now You See Me, Dread.
Now You See Me's going.
Total Recall and SWAT, 2 Colin Farrell movies. Terminator 2, Avatar, and Troy.
I really like Total Recall.
I like the remake a lot. I think it's like 2013 or 2012 or something. It was really like that and Dread are like my 2 favorite remakes, and they came out like right around the same time. They're both like remaking 80s movies.
I saw Total Recall in theaters, and it was really good. It had me kind of on my edge of the seat, and the
action is so good. I think that they could have maybe done a better ending, and Bryan Cranston could have been a better villain. But I really like the first half of that movie. Dread, I think, is phenomenal. If you haven't seen Dread, you should watch Dread. It's so dark.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
It's so cool. It's a remake of Sylvester Stallone movie with Carl Urban, who's Billy Butcher, and it's just like all takes place in this hotel in this post-apocalyptic future. Not like a hotel, but like big apartment complex on lockdown.
Yeah, I can picture it in my head, but I haven't actually like seen the movie.
Dude, it's so gritty. It's so bloody. It's awesome.
All right, so that wraps up our action movie draft here. And what really makes these drafts, again, is the audience voting for a winner. Let us know what you think of our picks, who you think had the best team, which movies connected to you the most, what movies did we miss that aren't on my lists. What do you guys think? You can vote on YouTube in the comments. You can vote on Spotify in the polls, on our Instagram stories. Like you can vote on every platform. And if you want, you can vote more than once if you head over to the different platforms, and we'll total up the scores and see who won. Bragging rights go far on this podcast.
I mean, you want to so vote Team Andrew for my team and Team Aaron for this if you want to lose.
Right. Because I have like his favorite movie of all time on my list.
Not my number 1 favorite movie of all time.
It's probably like what, top 3, top 5. That's pretty high.
Anyway, we do have merch on Etsy. You can purchase our t-shirts on Etsy under the name Backseat Directing. We're going to be working on putting a couple different styles on there, hopefully soon. Yeah, hopefully by the time this video is posted, maybe.
Yeah, we have a cool design like going up too that I'm really excited for. That was requested actually, so that was pretty cool. We have a D&D campaign that's coming out in the next few weeks. I'm very excited for this. We've put in a lot of time for this. The whole game has been a lot of fun. It's new to us, so we got to learn how to play D&D. We have an episode that's introducing how to play D&D. I believe that was 111 that just came out. And Kaylee, our DM, is on that episode explaining how the game works, how to get into D&D and stuff. So we're very excited for that like special series. It's kind of our first like series that we're going to be putting on from Backseat Directing. So I'm excited to put something out other than the podcast, and it's long and fun, and I'm excited to get it out there. So
super long.
Be sure to check that out. I think that's it for housekeeping. That's everything, right?
Thanks for listening to this whole episode. If you made it this far, thanks for listening to our draft, and definitely make sure to vote like we've been saying.
And that's a wrap.